Leo, we're back.
Jay,
And I've
yes,
just heard that you're sick, right?
yeah,
You caught something,
but
huh?
they can't get me down, my friend. I
Yes,
resist.
sir. That's how we do it. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Hey, man, I appreciate you being back yet again. And of course, not gonna take too much of your time. And I'm sure people listening to your story about your walkthrough of this will definitely appreciate you taking your time, even though you're freaking sick. And that sounds like just about the shit show trader that I'm raising up to be, so to say. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
man.
was your week so far? Except that you were sick and tired.
Yeah, well, a bit busy with some family stuff.
Mm.
Like I told you, had
Yep.
to fly back home, and takes a lot of time, of course. But well, on the flight back home, I was reviewing my homework,
Mm.
and sorry, and I realized that it was awful. Uh, I don't know what happened. Perhaps I was a bit less concentrated last week, also
Mm-hmm.
with the family stuff going on. Perhaps it was that or something, or I was just starting um, to mix up a lot of stuff now that we are advancing more and more,
Right.
and
Yep.
I'm still like assimilating all the information.
Mm.
It's just I said, whoa, what am I doing here? I had like at some point like three failed twos in a row and stuff like that. I said, wow, this is not good. And then Tuesday evening when I arrived home before I went to bed, couldn't sleep. I watched the latest video with the multiple time frames, and that's where I realized that yeah. Uh, I was like wrong over
Mm.
the whole line, and I had to review everything.
Got it.
So it's like you said some time ago that little by little all the pieces will start falling into place,
Right.
and apparently they are starting to fall into place.
Mm.
So yeah, I need to catch my breath again.
Yeah.
So it was a bit enlightening this week.
Mm.
Um, at from that point of view, so to speak, to realize that I've been learning a lot, even though I made a lot of mistakes. But it's
Yep.
good to know that you're making mistakes, so you can rectify it and
Yeah.
move on. You know.
Exactly.
Um,
Lovely.
so
So you're in
it
essentially in week 4 now, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
is
correct.
about the numbers characteristics and how the numbers are basically now not only how you are reading it from a objective manner, but now we're kind of trying to translate that into a subjective, right? We're focusing and leaning into the subjectivity in the market and how it's operated in, so to say.
That is something I really need to work on,
Yeah.
um, because I realize that I am still too technical,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not. It's like I'm not giving into the story enough. It's oh, at some point I thought like I was afraid to let the technicals go and to just trust the process.
Right.
um, but I realized, like I think it was Rana yesterday in the Q&A that said you really have to make an effort to turn the story towards your technical,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Yeah.
to make an effort, and even for him it's not always easy. So
Mm.
I understand all the theory that you present, the drawings that you make, the greatest drawing of all time,
Yeah.
that one.
Starting to enjoy it.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I 100% understand all the theory.
Yep.
It is my everlasting issue that I have is translating what I've learned into the chart, the
Yep.
actual charts,
Yep.
and um, and getting off, um, getting rid of the fluff, the things that I don't need. But then I see a few candles that, or one candle um, that has made a new high, or a new low, and then it makes me doubt. Oh yeah, hold on, wait a minute. But
Yeah.
yeah, then we have a new two or a new whatever, depending on the
Exactly. Yeah.
situation. So
It
I
sounds
need more hours.
it sounds essentially right. You're in that step of you have the information, and imagine that's just week 4, right? And you still have 2 weeks to go after this week. That is more on the advanced side of things. This is the main part of the technicals. Now we're digging deeper into that to understand the why behind it. And why we are digging deeper into understanding why behind it is just for that process, right? It takes a lot of time and effort for your brain now in the beginning to translate that into the chart, but that is something that will go faster and faster as you go on, right? And that is why we're focusing so much on the why, so you have the deep understanding of it, and it's starting to be go faster and faster into the market, so you sort of catching up to the speed in which the candles are moving. And sooner or later, as you're probably recognized over time now, you're gonna be able to go on the smaller time frames and smaller time frames and smaller time frames, and continue to do that, because you don't need to think as much. You can just see all the potential directions that price could take without necessarily thinking about it too much. But right now you're still in that stage of learning, so you have to think about it to really consider, what do I know? Oh, back check this, back check that. Like I don't, and the focus group people don't necessarily have to back check what we're doing at all times, so we don't have to run back into the cabinet and check, all right, let's see here, what does this mean, and then coming back to the charts. And so in the perspective of a visual, so to say, and you have to run all the way back there, check it out. Oh, this is what I know, and that's when the move is over. And so, whenever in that time period, that's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller, and sooner or later, you will automatically know what is in your knowledge, so to say, portfolio, and you will automatically catch that, and your mind will recognize that very fast. And to be able to do that, you need to understand the why behind everything more, right? And that's what we're going into week 4, week 5, and week 6. The advancement of it all. So you got the basics, week 1, 2, 3, and then you have the more of the advancement that explains your questions that you still have, which is applying now that information to the chart. And I haven't seen a lot of people that are able to do that in 6 weeks, being able to teach a whole system and then applying it to the charts in 6 weeks. And we'll see how it goes, right? Only time will tell. But these upcoming 3 weeks for you is going to be mainly focused around understanding the deeper parts, digging even deeper into everything, in order for you to automatically start to faster and faster apply it to the chart until it goes super mega fast and you don't have to think about it, right? So that's sort
Just
of
put in
the
the
build up.
hours.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you start to apply it more and more, and the more you apply it, the better it becomes, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. So true. It's like a pilot. A pilot needs to, what was it? What is the saying? To put in 10,000 hours to be called a pilot, to
Exactly.
be
Yeah,
able
yeah, yeah.
to manage everything. It's quite similar. Just need a lot more screen time, and it's not difficult, Jay. It's not rocket science. It's just
Yeah.
learning something new and making it our own,
Right.
and n- not replicating what you are doing.
Right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, you said that also in one of your videos, we would just be trading Jay's system or Jay's
Exactly. Yeah.
strategy, and we would have a win rate of perhaps, I don't know, 30%
Yeah.
compared to you 90.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is also something I have to keep in mind, to try to see my own, not to stick too hard, too close to the theory, and try to yeah, just let it go. And that is, it's now that we are talking about this, I realize that it's quite contradictory, right, to everything we learned before
Mm.
with other systems, and other strategies, is that you cannot um, think, or how should I say, um, you don't know what the market will do, eh?
Mm.
Uh, you can't say which direction the market will take, so you have to stick 100% to the strategy, and not going solo, so to
Yeah.
say.
Right.
But with the Schizo model, we have the possibility just to go solo based on the movement, and yeah, the 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
um, what the market has been doing so far. If it has been doing just 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, or whatever,
Mm.
then we will know more or less what the market will do. It's predictable, and that is something that is still a bit contradictory.
Yeah,
But
it
okay,
is.
I still have some time, some few weeks to go, so we will see in the future.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
mean,
I have
I understand that it's very contradicting to what people learn, and that's why it's also so different, because you can easily see what I mean with looking to predict the next move and not getting so tied up into the market. See, and that's the point that I'm also trying to make. First and foremost, every single trader tries to predict the market because that's how you make money. You try to predict the next move, and don't tell me that you don't, because that would be false, simply false, because you can only make money by taking a trade now and wait for 5 minutes and it should either go up or down. That is looking to predict the next move. So that's what everybody is doing. I don't buy into the guru type shit. Secondly, when it comes to the perspective on this entire contradictory idea that I have, at the end of the day, if you can see that it's possible through the different views and minds of not tying yourself up to so much it's only one way and there's this only one way that it's supposed to work, that is also false, because the market always looks different, which means that you can't have anything that is 100% only objective. And if you find that thing that is 100% only objective in the terms of, for example, pattern trading, right? And I've seen a lot of Swedes, for example. Sweden is the perfect example. Everybody believes pattern trading works in Sweden. I don't know what it is, but they have turned out to be lovers of pure pattern recognition trading. Yes, patterns are really good, but the patterns also change. They have different characteristics. They don't work as, this is always going to work whenever I take this. No, you have to apply it into a bigger context. And what is that context? That is the story. What is the story? Subjective. So now you have objectiveness in subjectiveness. So you need at all times some sort of subjectivity in the market and how it could move in order for you to operate it. So I would say it's quite literally, in my opinion, and the holy grail, by the way, for objectivity would be having a win rate of 51%. That's the holy grail, 51% and up. Everything above 51, 52% completely objective is amazing. That's absolutely amazing if you have a completely objective idea of the market. And so to say, basically a profitable system that is completely objective. Now, do they exist? Probably, yeah. I haven't seen a lot of them, but at all times, you're always going to end up, and you can ask whatever mentor you have right now when it comes to subjectivity. At some point, if you ask them enough, just be on their asses, ask them why enough, and they will at some point just say, because I just know. And that is subjectivity. And
yeah.
And that's what I mean. So you can't escape reality of subjective trading as well. But subjective and objective goes hand in hand within this model. I kind of embrace it, that you should go into it. Everybody else is just follow your system. Well, the system will always look different in different conditions in terms of what does the market look like today in comparison to yesterday. So they will always look different. But instead of going away from subjectivity like the entire industry does right now, move towards it. Look and expect to predict the next move. It's going to hurt your ego whenever you're wrong, but that's just a learning curve of understanding you have nothing to lose. Just keep on trying to predict it, and further on, you will just know where price is going. And that's just the fact of mainly the shit show model, in my opinion. But I'm also biased.
It would be weird if you wouldn't be, but yeah, of course.
Yeah. Biased towards the one thing that changed my life, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, so I think when we're talking about these contradicting views that I have, it's also these contradicting views that the industry told me to shut down. You're gonna be wrong. It doesn't work like that. And apparently I made that work. So you shouldn't listen to anybody, including myself. If you're listening to this right now thinking, why should I listen to you in comparison to everybody else? You shouldn't. Go with your own instinct, really. And I'm open and honest about that. Learn, practice, and piss off, right? And it goes the same for everybody. You have to fit you within a model. Otherwise, it's not going to work. For every single person that is struggling, I can guarantee you that they're all focused on the mentor's perspective on exactly how he does it. Yeah, that's how you learn in the beginning, but over time, if it's a good mentor, he will try to force you into your own way of seeing things. Therefore, when people see specific things, and as we saw it in the Q&A the other day, he was like, there was one guy that was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've seen. And I told him in front of everybody else, yeah, the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. But to somebody else, that might be nothing that speaks to them. And that is beautiful. That's how it should be. You have to fit you within the perspective of the market. Otherwise, the market will control you, and you will be hit with all kinds of direction, and you will struggle until you figure out, all right, this is a mentor that actually guides me, or a teacher that guides me towards my own perspective. He knows what he's talking about because he's been in the goddamn trenches. He doesn't sit on high horses. I'm just a trader. And again, it's very important that people understand. If, for example, your mentor says there's only one way to do it, you should only do this, and all of these rules slapped upon you, I don't believe in that. That's just not my way, my cup of tea. And that's what people told me. It's not possible if you're doing it this way that you're viewing it. And suddenly, imagine that. Now I'm changing people's minds. And now I'm controversial. But somebody that is controversial is just somebody that people don't like because he's opposing their essentially view set that they have been taught, learned, and I'm basically disrupting their own schematic of drip feeding people so they make money off of confusion. And that's the fact.
Yeah. Short in a while, a lot of those people, those teachers, will start copying you.
Yeah.
Once you take over the industry.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's gonna happen. And I said this to my focus group today. But something good about that is that if they do copy me, and actually do, I know that this is gonna help even more people. So guess what? Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit, and I did not from the beginning either. It was never about for me to make money. It was always about how do I reach as many people as possible. If they can take my stuff and teach it to other people, sure, go ahead. You will never teach it the same way that the creator teaches it, right? I can't teach what Dave does. I can't teach exactly what Stoic does. I can't, because that's not my thing, right? I don't sit on the creator's mind, what they see, right? But again, if more people get their hands on this information, and this is my driving factor towards all of this, if more people get their hands on this, more lives can change. And that's okay. I can live with that, so to say. That's been my goal from the get-go.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah. Do you have any other add-ons for week 4 that has been good and bad? Has there been anything that is like, oh shit, right?
No, just had my moments that I was that I hated you again for 5 minutes, and the usual, you know.
Yeah, the usual. Love it.
thinking, oh fuck, Jay, not gonna play with you anymore. I'm gonna look for some other friends to play with. This is no fun.
Yeah. And I usually say that if you don't hate me throughout the 6 week program, I've done something wrong, and that's just a fact. Like if you don't hate me during the 6 week, and after the 6 weeks, you're hopefully gonna like me again, like really like me. So, but if you still hate me, that's fine, because I'm still gonna drag your ass over the finish line. That's, yeah,
No hate here. It's just we're changing, like you said,
yeah,
and that's a process. And if we don't go with the process, it will be forced and it will be painful.
exactly.
So we just need to accept a few things at some point
Yeah.
and go with the flow.
Mm.
So that's the only thing, basically.
Mm.
Apart from that, I'm really pissed off that a lot of people are talking about CBCs already. And that's only in the last week, in week 6.
Yeah.
How do they know so much about freaking CBCs, man?
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know, man. Like all of them, well, you think they know because you don't know too much about CBCs. And the thing is, they're in week 3, and that's where I sort of say talk about it a bit, and you have touched upon
Yeah.
it, so you know the word, but I haven't gone deeper on it, and they're trying to figure that out. As of course, if people have gotten bird from other dickheads out there, they feel like, oh, he just explained something that I have to figure out myself. No, I have to explain everything in week 3 for you to understand week 4. But I can only explain the words, very, very, very basics of it. And then as we progress into week 5, into week 6, it will all make sense why I did that in week 3. So that's why I have to do it, right? I have to do it up until week 4 because that's numbers characteristics. Numbers within numbers within numbers, multiple numbers, how the numbers act up against one another. And you can start to puzzle the pieces together. You'll be like, oh, wait, even more confusion. Week 5, 6 solves that. So that's why you're also seeing 90% of the questions we get from the Q&A, something like that, is in week 2 and week 3. Week 4, everybody turns quiet. You barely see any
Yeah.
questions. In week 5, also barely any questions. Week 6, more questions. Again, because that's the end of everything. Now they've ran through everything. They're just fixated on the last sort of steps, so to say. And that's what I mean. You will have, it's built like that. It has been built from me, only from me. Nobody has been involved with that, except the back end thing with the legals and all that. But when it comes to the structure of the 6-week program, I built it up like you are going to have questions. Why? Because it's completely different to anything you've ever seen before. It's a completely different mindset, completely different style, completely against what everybody's speaking about. And you have to understand, I have to change your perspective on what I see and what can be seen and how simple the model actually is. And then digging deeper into your questions with the material that goes on.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people know too much about CBCs, but I usually say you think they know a lot, but they are just completely wrong because they haven't gone over this week 6 yet. So
Those people started after me and made me feel dumb. It was like CBC2 and the CBC3 and this and that. And come on, man.
yeah,
You just mentioned it.
they're usually just wrong.
It made me go back to that video and made me draw the CBCs by hand. Just, okay, did I miss something?
Yeah, yeah,
What's...
exactly. No, it's
But
sad that it has to be that way. That's extra work for me to explain every single Q&A with at least one question coming up about the CBCs, but they're in week 3. So it's like, all right,
yeah.
I have to explain it again, but it has to be done this way. If I would have efficiently put it out in a different way, sure. But it's not possible. It's meant to be this way. Not to confuse you, but you have to understand certain topics to get deeper into the numbers characteristics. And it's impossible to do it any other way. Unless it would be 50 or 60 hours worth of material, but that would be a waste of time and just a bunch of blabbling and a lot of sugarcoating. So instead, straight to the point, you have to go through that in order for you to understand week 4. You can't understand week 4 if you don't understand week 3 in the terms of what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. And I say that every single time.
Yeah.
Wait to week 6. Wait to week 6 every single time.
Because you mentioned a few times also that there are a few people after 2 weeks they're already profitable and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. The, that annoys me. I want to be those people.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the extremity of people. That's a very, not very low percent, but a pretty decent low percentage of people that have joined that become profitable in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, week 1 and week 2. But again, remind you that that is also many times somebody that has already watched a YouTube series like billions of times and have studied across all my Twitter or other focus group members' Twitter, trying to understand and build it backwards and listen to everything that I've said 500 times. See what I mean? That's people that have
Yeah.
just come in and just like click, go. See what I mean? And then as they
Yeah.
progress, yeah, they become tighter, better, and stronger, sure, right? But they become profitable very, very fast. For that, and I'm thinking you're talking about Mo as well. That became profitable,
Oh yeah.
and he didn't even speak English, by the way. So he
Uh,
he
do
didn't
you have
speak.
news about him?
Yeah, he's kicking ass. If you hear this, Mo, hey, good to see that you're still here, alive, kicking. But he had another big payout, so good for him. I think he's gotten 3 payouts now, since the beginning, and it's only been uphill for him. So that's amazing. But yeah, that was for you guys that don't know that's the guy who didn't speak English, joined in this mid-December something, became funded in January or something like that, and beginning of January, and 7 days later he had a payout, something like that. So he was basically in there for 2 weeks worth of material, almost 3 weeks worth of material, and yeah, he didn't even speak English, so he had to translate that using AI from the subtitles. So you can imagine, that guy is a dangerous man. Let me tell you, the Mo mindset is what was built from that, because talk about working against the odds in one of the hardest industries in the world, in a language you don't understand, and you have to manually translate things with the subtitles that are also shit on WAP. You understand? Like, yet still the drive, and he was also going to jail, and so he wanted to make money from trading to provide for his family while he was gone. So you can imagine, like, he has a lot on the line, and he solved it in almost 2.5 weeks, and that's what desperation really does with you, on a really deep level. Like you and I can probably, well, when I was down to my $50 to my name, right? I had a lot of desperation on my ass, of course. But imagine adding on to that, I'm going to jail. I don't even speak English, and now he invested half his net worth into my course, and he got out with, I don't know, I think he has now tripled 4 or 5 times his net worth with that, which is crazy. But you see what I mean? It's that desperation is probably not something that you and I have never really experienced. So desperation really does something with you, and you can't fake that. You can't fake desperation. You can't just artificially create desperation. You have to really feel it in your circumstance, and that's just how it goes. So that was his blessing and his curse, and he definitely changed his life. And I know there's a lot of people that can do that as well. So that's also the main reason why I'm sitting here chatting with you about it. And I want this to, well, I don't want it anymore. I'm actually desperate for it to reach everywhere. And I'm going to make sure it does, because it's going to change a whole lot of people. And that's something very beautiful to me, right? That is bigger than money, bigger than something else. That's purpose, right? When you can, in 2-3 years, you will still have people coming in hot on your DMs or whatnot and saying, thank you, for you changed my life, right? That is something that I'll bring with me. Every single person that has changed their lives, which is hundreds of people, um, I'll bring them all with me, right? And to say that I did something for somebody else, that's big to me. Not to upfront it for everybody else to see, look how good I am, but for my own heart, my own sake, right? I might have saved 100 people, right? And changed their life for their families, and that's something I don't take credit for it, but I can live with that, so to say.
Serving and helping people, there's nothing that goes above that, I think. It's
Yeah, yeah,
very beautiful. And 100 people, you're being, you're underestimating yourself. It
yeah,
will be a lot more by the time
yeah,
you're done.
yeah, yeah.
We will help you spread the word, my man.
Yeah, the good word, right? But yeah, there's a lot of ICT traders. Some ICT traders might be listening to this right now and thinking, ICT is only right. And let me tell you, I was in that ICT um,
Mm.
depths, so to say, um, and thinking that that was the only thing that existed. So um, it's cool to see the other side of things, and I got very much a lot of help to get myself out of that situation, thanks to a lot of people that were able to spread something else about somebody else that knew a way, right? And that's what this can hopefully do for a lot of other people. And I've had a lot of ICT students that have completely ditched his ass, and that's one of my biggest accomplishments in life, I think. um, but that could just very well be the next Jay, right? The next person that creates something even better than I have, and that's amazing. And if that's the case, I love it. I'm all for it. That's why I'm doing this, right?
We're gonna build a church.
Yeah, yeah. The Church of the SS. I don't know if that's the best name for it, but so we're gonna have to change that up if if that's the case.
The sequence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this week is yeah. But yeah, man. Anything else to add for the week? Otherwise, I'm gonna let you rest. Right? You're still sick. 30 minutes later.
I'm shut up with a lot of medication, so my eyes will close quite fast
Yeah.
after this call. So,
Yeah. Good man. Good man.
I'm good. It's one of those weeks that just have to hammer on. Nothing, well, a lot of new things, but that's just technical. Nothing
Mm.
to go into detail about it and into this call.
Yeah.
But yeah, just continuing, making a lot of screen time,
Yeah.
and trying to make it ours as usual. So thank you so much for your time as always, Jay.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for taking your time, even though you're sick. I appreciate you, and you know it. And let's catch up next week then, so to say.
Will do, my man. Will do.
Awesome. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.